I am looking at them.
Obviously, we all understand this is a very kind of complicated issue, and there's a historical aspect to the issue itself that goes back decades, and you know, it's, as I said from the outset, it's quite complicated. But I think we wouldn't been here if it wasn't for Shane Kerr, the whistleblower, and I think there's we should commend Mr. Kerr in relation to the material that he has put in the public realm. And my first question is in relation to the Sunday Mail article itself and in relation to liabilities to the state, because Mr. Kerr states that families were shortchanged for decades by the government and liabilities could run into billions. In fact, it could run into 12 billion euros. Now, I asked the Taoiseach a number of weeks ago in relation to liabilities that are outstanding, and he said it could be run into just over €1 billion. Is there any outstanding liabilities or court cases in relation to families prior to 2005 or post 2005?
Thanks, Deputy. There are a number of cases, I understand, which are still active, so there's a potential for the state to incur liabilities related to those cases.
Right. Many cases?
No, small number of cases.
Could you give a number?
A dozen, a score maybe, of active ones. There are lots of cases that are there. There are lots of cases that are active, right?
Could you give me a number?
But there's about I think about 100. But there's been no movement on those for a long time. No statement of claims has been issued in respect to many of them. There's been no movement on the case for a significant time. So they're I guess they're live, but they're not active. If that
and
makes sense.
Whereabouts are they in the process of?
There are various stages.
Okay, could you give a bit more detail than that?
I can't really.
Right.
Deputy, I don't.
And obviously they're taking the state to court in relation to...
They are seeking damages from the state, yes. They're making claims against the state.
And could you give a breakdown of what the composition of that is? You know, what liabilities they're looking for? You know, a compensation?
So they're looking for Deputy to be compensated or refunded for the charges that they incurred privately for private nursing home in respect of people who had medical cards during that period. Okay. This comes back to the point Deputy Burke was alluding to earlier.
Is it pre-2005 or
pre-2005?
Is there any cases that are post-2005?
No. It's a matter. The Act came in at that stage to regularise the situation, so they predate 2005.
And obviously these cases have been ongoing for a considerable amount of time.
So these cases were initiated during various periods, from 2006, 7, 8, 9, 10,
Right.
Yeah.
And how come...
but no new cases since 2013.
Right, 2013. And how come these cases are ongoing? So, like, obviously these are legacy issues that could go on for, have gone on for decades. But how come they haven't been settled?
I don't know, Deputy. I don't know. So the cases are in dispute. The statement of claims in many cases has not been put forward, so the facts are not clear. Right. The arguments are contested.
And obviously these are contested in the court of law.
These could be, but they haven't got to the stage of discovery yet. So they're pre-court. That makes sense. So they haven't got to court.
Could they be settled without going to court?
Yes, they could be. Yeah.
Okay, and there's obviously precedent of this before.
Yes.
This goes back, as I said, this goes back decades in relation to these cases. Okay.
Yes.
And money's involved? Can you divulge what families are, what compensation they're looking for?
It would depend on the case.
Yeah, because if the Taoiseach is saying €1 billion, that's an enormous amount of money. Even if you're talking about the outstanding 100 cases, that you're talking about hundreds of thousands.
I didn't hear the Taoiseach's statement, Deputy, so I don't wish to comment on it.
I didn't hear. He did say $1 billion.
I don't know what he was referring to. Was he referring to? There's lots of different aspects.
He said possible liabilities is €1 billion.
Yeah, and I don't know if he was. I don't know because I didn't hear what the Taoiseach said, Deputy. So I don't want to comment on it. But he might have been referring to what was an estimate historically. as opposed to the estimate now. I don't know. I didn't hear the exchange.
So there's 100 outstanding kind of cases at the moment.
Circa 100 cases, yeah.
Right. And are these individuals? Okay. And have some of the families, some of the individuals that we're talking about that were in nursing homes, some of them may have been deceased.
Yes.
In fact, I say the majority of probably
yes.
deceased. So these are families,
yes.
relatives, and so forth.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's right.
Okay. Thanks.